to the Fantasy Footballers Podcast with your hosts, Andy Holloway, Jason Moore, and Mike Wright.
Welcome in. Tuesday, January 6th, 2026. Welcome into the Fantasy Footballers Podcast. Mike Wright,
off-season edition.
Jason Moore. Yeah, this is our first technically off-season episode. And we're back. We've got NFL playoffs on the horizon. But your fantasy season is done. It's over. Even you Week 18ers out there, you weirdos. But that was a good time.
Weirdos.
That was a blast, wasn't it?
No, it was funny because going into the week, it felt like
Riley Leonard.
Early on, it was like, you know what, this year doesn't have too many bad hiccups. And then it was just like everyone, right down to the stretch, was just like, yeah, we're not going to play him. Yeah, he's going to play a little bit of the game. It's just so dumb. You shouldn't play Week 18 championships. I know we joke about it, and we're like, you weirdos and what, but like, don't do it.
But we mean it.
Don't do it. Don't do it. It takes away from something so majestic, so much work and energy and effort and brain power and fun. And
well, the product actually isn't very good.
No, not at all.
Like for NFL fans, independent of fantasy, most of those games were bad. I mean, you did have an incredible, amazing Steelers-Ravens game for the ages.
Lamar Jackson, what a loser, am I right, guys?
Can't win the big
one. What a loser.
I mean, it's wild, though. No Mahomes, no Burrow, no Lamar for the AFC this year.
This is why you're saying Josh Allen, it's your time.
It has to be. And now they have to go beat Jacksonville.
But
consider me worried.
They do not beat Jacksonville.
I mean, I think they are favored.
The Bills.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think the Bills are favored.
You
got to remember these playoffs. You guys both have Seattle going to your Super Bowl. We got our predictions and stuff like that. Let's just say the playoffs are to kicking as that situation was to Tyler Loop. Pressure packed. And I don't, big players, the reason Mahomes has been so successful, doesn't matter what the regular season looks like. He gets here and he does it. And if you can't do it now, Josh, you're going to look back with regrets.
Yes.
Because you're not going to have an offseason or a playoffs like this again.
But I don't know. What's our website? Or not our website, Brooksy's website.
MyPlayoffPicks.com. So if you are just listening, you didn't see the tweet where we tweeted out MyPlayoffPicks.com. It is a super duper duper easy way to make a playoff bracket, not for money or anything, just to like make your picks. Yeah. See how you think the playoffs are going to go.
Reseeds for you so you don't make that mistake.
I know. Years ago, we used to do it on paper and then be like, wait, this team can't play that.
That's impossible.
And
it's
what's funny
literally
is
just a bracket maker. So we all made our bracket.
We do it around the office. Everyone makes theirs, put it in a little thread. And I made mine, and I felt like some wild stuff. I was like, this is crazy. And I felt like I was doing some wild stuff. And then afterwards, Mike scoots over and looks, and he had done his bracket earlier. 100% identical picks in every round,
which is
has never
insane
happened.
That two people
can be
on this show will get every
so
single
wrong.
pick right.
I know, right?
Yeah, two. You guys have, just to summarize, I have the Bills over the Rams in the Super Bowl. You two both had the Seahawks over Jacksonville.
Correct.
In the Super Bowl.
Wild.
So there you go. It's gonna be fun. I mean, the truth of the matter is when you're looking at these matchups, other than the Rams-Carolina game, which again, that could bust some brackets. I don't want to take away any hope from Carolina fans, but it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough. And
but you did backdoor your way into the playoffs.
You did sub 500 your way into the playoffs. So
you did have a negative 69-point differential, which is worse than the Giants.
Yeah, I mean, they beat them. Carolina beat the Rams.
They did a month ago. But other than that one, you can kind of make an argument in almost every other game of how it can go either direction, right? I mean, you can see San Francisco winning. I can see Philadelphia winning. All the matchups in the first round, to me, feel like I want Buffalo to win. I could see them losing to Jacksonville in round 1. It's going to be crazy. Fortunately, we're in a much better mood thanks to some news that has come out.
Oh!
News and notes from around the league.
Oh, man.
The coaching carousel shall begin. We had the Browns firing Stefanski and the Raiders firing Pete Carroll and the Falcons letting go of Raheem Morris. And we felt left out.
They were saying, the media's like, no. Jonathan Gannon is safe. Gannon was going on radio stations. He's like, what? No, of course I'm not going to get fired. And then all the media people are like, well, Jonathan Gannon said he's not going to get fired, so I guess he should keep the job.
Gannon showed up at 5 a.m. to the facilities just ready for a normal day, waving to the cameras. And
just historically one of the worst.
Were the doors locked, Jason? Because Jonathan Gannon was fired.
Yeah! I can wear this hat.
Get on out.
I was so close.
Get on out.
I was so close to truly abandoning fanhood. I
get out.
Got the number 3 pick. Got no blobfish.
You get.
Get out of here. You don't come back
here. You get.
It's always a weird thing because you're celebrating. This is a human. This is a man.
Did it seem like we were celebrating?
Yeah, because we are.
Okay.
I'm just saying, like, I get it.
Yeah! John Gannon Cannon.
Get on out.
Move
on.
It's a man. He's a human being, and he gets fired. For that's a bummer. He is paid so much cash, and
well, not anymore, right? Not like next year and the
right.
next year. Or,
yeah, no.
Oh no, he does. He still gets paid
millions
the entirety
of
his
dollars.
contract.
And how many careers got ruined by Jonathan Gannon? I mean, you're like, I'm dead serious.
Do you mean other coaches or players? Or?
I mean all of it. Like anyone in that coaching staff now has this is their resume. Is that Cardinal season? Those players are trying to go out and put stuff on tape, and they're getting put in bad positions because the coaches stink and they don't know what they're doing. Just saying it.
Well, I
get it. It's
I think
weird.
Josh Sweat's a Pro Bowler if it wasn't for Jonathan Gannon's team going 3-14.
It can feel just caring humanity to celebrate a person being removed from their job, but he had to go. He had to go, man, and they were telling us it wasn't going to happen.
Yeah, I mean this is
Get
on out of here. All right, that's it.
Do you think
results-based job?
Yes. The Raiders fans, they've got to be happy
contract.
that Pete Carroll's out. That one was on the wall. I wonder if the Falcons fans are happy Raheem Morris is gone. Yeah,
yes.
You think so?
I think that is unfortunately a move you had to make.
And the one that I'm the most confused about from a fandom perspective, obviously a terrible season for the Browns, but they let Kevin Stefanski go, who is, I think it's like 2 of the last 4 years the coach of the year. He's clearly not a bad coach.
Yeah, I mean, again, it shows how quick things can change. The last 2 years, they're basement dwellers in the division, and that was enough. So now you have Giants, Titans, Raiders, Browns, Falcons, Cardinals so far looking for new head coaches. Bengals are bringing back Zach Taylor. Colts are going to keep Shane Steichen despite the fact that they went from 8-2 to 8-9.
I mean, I don't blame them on that one. The fact that they were 8-2 and number 1 in the NFL when they had their quarterback shows that he had the team doing good stuff, and then obviously dealt with losing your quarterback and lost games.
And the Giants maintaining their general manager despite the fact Daboll got fired mid-season. And there's going to be some names out there.
Despite the fact that Daboll is the reason they drafted the quarterback and not the GM. It was like Daboll's guy, and then he was right, and then it's like, you're gone.
That one is wild.
We had some injuries in Week 18. Cam Ward left with a grade 3 right shoulder AC joint injury. Brock Purdy suffered a stinger late in the game. He's going to be okay. And then Devontae Adams, we're supposed to get him back. When you look at what happened with the Rams, and thank goodness the Cardinals lost to the Rams. Cardinals have the number 3 pick in the draft now.
Hey.
Thank you, Browns, in a big way for that.
Mm-hmm.
That victory was huge. But you got to remember, Matthew Stafford, the push for MVP, he didn't have Devontae Adams in the last handful of weeks. Probably going to be the difference, I think. Saturday we have the Rams, Panthers, Packers, Bears Oh, boy.
That Packers-Bears game
Oh,
is going to
boy.
be unbelievable. The last victory for the Packers was the Chicago Bears.
In
And
the
the last
in
victory,
the playoffs?
no. The last team that the Packers beat was the Bears. And the last team that the Bears beat was the Packers.
Really?
Yes.
Wait, what?
I know. It feels impossible.
It's because the Bears have lost 2 straight, right?
Someone
So-
needs to vet this.
I know. Vet it.
I think you made
All
it
right,
up.
week 14.
Makes no sense.
Week 14, the Packers beat Chicago.
There you
and
go.
then it was 4 straight losses.
Oh, then this is right.
Yeah.
And then Caleb Williams, let's see.
Yeah, they had the
Week
comeback
16,
win.
they beat the Packers, and then they lost 2 games.
So there you go. It seems
The
impossible.
See, the NFL rules. The NFL, it just gives us so much of this. So
I mean, the
much drama.
Steelers-Ravens game was so exciting
Oh,
from
man.
every moment. I mean, man, it really stinks that it was going to come down to either Boswell being, ridiculed or Loop being ridiculed. The game is so much more than those moments. I think Harbaugh not running the football and gaining as many yards as you can to make that kick more manageable was ridiculous.
Nonsense. Absolute nonsense to not do that. But I did rewatch the kick, and he could have been at the goal line. It was so bad. He missed it.
Yeah, but but his approach is different. If
Confidence.
you're
39-yard field goal, maybe that feels better in your head.
It does. If you're 3 yards forward, you kick a lot.
I mean, I
different.
completely agree that it was wild to not only. I mean, you took like a 2-yard loss on Lamar's kneel down there. Yeah,
Shout
plenty
out
of
to
time.
Aaron Rodgers. Played amazingly at the end of that game. Also had a look on his face like he knew he was going to lose.
Oh yeah,
And the relief.
His face through the entirety of the end, like the celebration was of a man who is like, oh, I can't believe we won that game.
all the faces. Did you see
People
Derrick
want your
Henry's-
reaction to your incorrect prediction about Aaron Rodgers. That's
Hey,
the most thing I saw on Twitter.
Now I'm just rooting for them to win the Super Bowl because I just want chaos.
Yeah, because it looked like we were one kick from them
Yeah, from
finally
them
missing the playoffs.
not
I mean, he's
making the
rolling.
playoffs.
What's the crew out there? It's Austin,
Yeah, Calvin Austin,
Adam Thielen,
MVS.
and MVS.
Hey, they'll get Metcalf back.
Oh yeah, they will. Yeah.
That was
Mike Caff.
That's as close as you can get to really screwing your team without screwing your team.
With those 3 wide receivers.
Yeah, it's true. And he made some big throws. Shout out to Rodgers getting it closed out, and then no Lamar for the playoffs. It's crazy. But I brought that up again because the Packers-Bears, it feels the same. I mean, that's that kind of rivalry. And we have 2 people in this office, the studio.
They're going to come up with some kind of a bet.
So, I mean, Al Borland is the biggest Packers fan I know. And Jake, baby Jake, the biggest Bears fan I know. I don't know if these guys can. I mean,
think
it's Saturday
after the
game.
game.
Maybe you can come to work on
I
Monday.
think after
hopefully.
the game, those 2 get in a ring, but one of them gets a sword, and it's based on
Oh,
whoever wins.
I was just gonna go.
the winner
like,
gets a sword, or the loser gets a
no,
sword?
the winner would get the sword.
Okay.
I
I was
mean,
going a good old fashioned
That just seems like
pinky
murder.
toe bet.
a pinky toe bet?
Yeah.
Oh, just
What's
remember
that?
the loser
Loser has
loses
to
the
cut off a
pinky
pinky
toe.
toe.
Yeah, that seems fine.
I mean,
Okay, that's cleaner. The sword
Are you
can get
in?
messy.
I'm in.
Okay.
Right.
That just leaves baby Jake, who
Now, do
know,
you both?
you have
Like,
both your
do you-
pinky toes.
Do you genuinely?
No, I
he
lost
lost
those a
one in
long
a
time
previous
ago.
Packer bet.
That's why I'm in.
So, Al, you're the only one here. Do you genuinely believe your Packers will win? Like
Yes, I do.
you do? Okay, that's not fandom. You think
No.
you're going to
You
win?
can look at my bracket. I took the Packers to
Well,
win this
sure.
one, but not win the Super Bowl.
Oh, okay, all right.
You took him. You tried to win you actually tried to do the bracket right.
I tried to, yeah.
Oh my gosh! If the Cardinals were
Yeah, I
in the
know.
playoffs, they
the
would
Cardinals,
always be.
Yeah, exactly.
Sunday games: Buffalo, Jacksonville. Buffalo 1.5-point road favorites. That'll be a wild game. Jacksonville playing so well. What was it? Trevor Lawrence at 38 touchdowns. That's the record for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
The turnaround in the offense halfway through the year.
You know who it doesn't involve at all?
Brian Thomas Jr.
Brian Thomas Jr. He was irrelevant in this game that they dominated. Parker Washington, monster. It actually gives me a little bit of this is what I just think Brian Thomas is going to go somewhere else. If you really have a plan to have him 3rd or 4th in the depth chart, if it's going to be Jacoby on the contract and Parker Washington, and then obviously Travis Hunter is going to be a big part because you invested everything to get him with this regime, and Britton Strange, it's not congruent. wide
you
receiver
can probably get more for your team
than the value
out of trading him to someone else and getting a draft pick.
And I don't know all the I know he's on a rookie contract, and I know that that's advantageous. But again, rookie contract or not, if there's going to be a problem in the locker room, which, look, if I'm Brian Thomas, I got a problem. That's the truth. I've got a problem being the fifth target in an offense.
I don't know, man.
I would have a major problem, and I'd want to go somewhere else, which is why it was rumored at the deadline.
Yeah, it's just really tough to have a major problem while your team is dominating, winning every game. And, I mean, they could go on. Both Mike and I, shockingly, have the Jaguars in the Super Bowl. I don't think you have a problem. Like, if you're the wide receiver 4.
You ever seen A.J. Brown have a problem with winning?
Yeah.
It happens all the time.
Yeah, I don't think that's a given for all people to be upset not getting enough. While, like, if you're losing games and not getting enough.
Bro, he's got one chance to earn a contract. If he's getting one catch a game, 2 catches a game, you're going to hear from BTJ. I think it's already happened a little bit in that locker room. San Francisco, Philadelphia. Oh, my. You know, things get real when the playoffs hit.
Yeah.
It's like all these games, all this lead up, and then all of a sudden one of these teams is just going home.
That's a real pick'em style game. Right now the Eagles are favored 4.5 because they're at home, but
it's the 49ers defense or lack thereof. I think that is the worry.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
who did you guys take in that game? I took Philly.
I took the Eagles. Yeah, I mean, it was we had the San Francisco Seattle game where it was like the elite offense, because that's what San Francisco is, versus a team that has a good offense and an elite defense, and that one went to Seattle.
Yeah, you were dead on.
It was like round 1
with that game. The Chargers at New England. New England 3.5-point home favorites. I did take New England in that one.
Yeah, I got New England too.
And then Monday night, Pittsburgh. I believe they have not lost a Monday night football game at home since 1991.
And
23 straight games.
They are on a wild card 4 in a row loss.
And they are the underdogs because the Texans are favored by 3 on the road.
Well, look, it's hard, Mike. You just mentioned the offensive weapons for Pittsburgh. You're leading the way with Kenny Gainwell, no disrespect, but
no, Gainwell's good.
Gainwell and Metcalf, but against Houston,
I know
there was no pass rush from from Baltimore.
Right.
There will be a major problem with a pass rush from Houston.
Yeah,
but I took Pittsburgh. I don't know why.
That was it was a very tough one. Them being at home made it difficult. I believe I
agree.
Texans.
We took the Texans because it's the correct
pick
for our perfect bracket. But that one was I could see Pittsburgh just in a nasty, disgusting game.
To me, the toughest one was the Patriots-Chargers. That one, the Patriots haven't really beat some of the great teams. The week off for the Chargers, I think, was a real smart move. That's going to be tough.
We are going to take a break in a moment. This show is about the Footies. The Footie Award nominees are coming up after we briefly talk through some of these Week 18 stud performances, maybe framing a little bit of how we view these players for 2026 and the upcoming season. It's easy to tune out a little bit in Week 18, but this puts an end to the season for a lot of these guys. And then we'll come back and give you the entire Footie nominees. We need you voting at footieawards.com. We'll announce the nominees momentarily.
This week's Fantasy Stud Muffins.
Well, nothing says Week 18 like Mitch Trubisky leading the way at quarterback. Trubisky, Stafford.
But wait, Trubisky didn't start.
No.
Josh Allen started that game.
Yeah, you got that one right, Jay. If Josh Allen's going to come out here and Ripken it?
Yeah, one snap.
I started.
I mean, that just kind of sucks.
Yes.
I
don't feel like that makes it, like, no one will remember it because they'll look at the years later, they'll just be like, he started this many games in a row.
And I think that's fine. Like, to me, he wasn't injured.
Right. It wasn't like they put him out there limping and then came off the field.
Yeah, they didn't want to break that streak. I know in the past, Eli Manning had a chance to do that, and he chose not to. You know, he's like, well, I'm not gonna.
He was forcibly
sat
down. Remember, they broke his streak, and then they went right back to him.
Mitch
if I'm remembering
Trubisky,
it
Matthew Stafford, Trevor Lawrence,
yeah.
Tyler Shuck,
Yeah,
and Joe
you're
Burrow.
remembering now.
yeah.
Yeah, they
That was,
hosed him.
I think before that but yes, they did, and then they went back to him.
Yes.
It's like, all right, you can start again. Your streak's over.
Stafford, Lawrence, Shuck, Burrow.
The Trevor Lawrence stuff is so exciting. You imagine it will continue next year, but perhaps this was just like the magic season. That'll be something to watch. And Tyler Shuck, man, he's the QB4 on the week. He had another passing touchdown called back on. I thought it was a pretty weak OPI. I thought the player was fine.
For who?
For Shuck. Shuck had and then they had to settle for a field goal on that
And
drive.
Noah Olave hurt him this week.
Yeah, but it's like, dude, Tyler Shuck is going to be fascinating next year.
I mean, his 9 starts, he's on pace for 4,200 passing yards as a rookie, throwing for 69% completion percentage as a rookie. That's very, very nice. And then he still adds some on the ground.
And I don't think that people will be like, man, Shuck won't be the QB 7 or 8. I don't think. I mean, maybe
drafted wise, you're saying he'll be
ADP.
more like kind of what
Probably a later
this year's Drake May was,
right,
where he was one of those targetable double-digit, close to it round type of players.
and it will be on watch for the Saints, because if they add a weapon, I mean, that would, I don't know, I'm very, very intrigued moving forward for Shuck.
I'm looking at this Trevor Lawrence season to try to, I expected to go, looking at fantasy finishes before the bye, right? And it was not good. 23, 13, 28,
Correct.
28, 7, 13, 14. I'm like, oh, okay, well, what's his pace there? 3,922.
Not
Okay,
that
pretty
great.
pretty normal Trevor Lawrence type of year,
And,
really.
Yeah, that will not get it done.
So then I'm like expecting the split to be wildly different in the second half after the bye week because he had a bunch of great fantasy finishes. They're not that different. I mean, he's 4,000
touchdowns.
It's just touchdowns.
Yeah.
It's just touchdowns. The touchdowns he started going crazy basically from week 10 on. He was basically on 38 touchdown pace.
What about rushing touchdowns?
Plus rushing touchdowns.
Yeah.
Because he had – so here's a neat stat. Quarterbacks with 4,000 passing yards, 29 passing touchdowns, and 9 or more rushing touchdowns in the same season. It's 2023 Josh Allen and 2025 Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, and to be clear, that 38 touchdowns is total, right? So he broke the record for the team at quarterback because of the 9 plus the 29.
He broke Blake Bortles.
That's a good one to break. You don't want to be a franchise where your records are all set by Blake Bortles.
I mean, same team and everything. That's the going into next year, being willing to put your chips all in on Trevor Lawrence. Because second half of this year, if that's what the guy you get, I mean, that's a top 3 quarterback.
For fantasy?
You drafted 101.
But Bortles did it.
Well,
and then when
it's the volatility of the pocket passer, and if he brings 9 rushing touchdowns, it changes the equation. That's for sure. But yeah, it's going to be a bet on something that we haven't seen over a sustained amount of years, and I bet part of the momentum is going to be what this playoffs looks like. Are they one and done? Might be. They're favored to. I mean, they're underdogs, right? Mm-hmm. So could be one and done, or they could be like your 2 brackets and be in the. If he's a Super Bowl quarterback, all of a sudden he's drafted very high.
It is really funny looking at my bracket. It's like I took Jacksonville over the Bills and Jacksonville making it all the way to the Super Bowl. But that Jacksonville Bills game is the real test for them. And if the Bills win, I think I would take the Bills all the way to the Super Bowl. So that game will be incredibly important. Another funny performance from this week, Riley Leonard.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, I was loving it.
Oh, man.
I was loving it.
When he had that bomb,
which one?
Well, the first wide open bomb down the sideline, little rainbow ball that Phillip Rivers couldn't dream of throwing in today's day and age.
That ball was
and it was just like, oh man, maybe they should have given Riley Leonard a chance.
That might have been the right move. 270 and 2, Lamar Jackson. At one point in this game, it was like 5 for 60 or something in the third quarter. Ends up with the 3 touchdowns. 2 bombs to Zay Flowers. Jackson Dart, they managed to defeat Dallas, which removed them from the number 1 pick.
Yeah,
because the Raiders won, which means they would have had the number 1 pick had they lost.
I know it's hard to convince a team to lose, but they rope-a-doped. Dallas, things got better for Dallas with Jackson Dart not having a top 2 pick.
Ramondre Stevenson led the way for the running backs.
Dude, he
was
unstoppable.
7 carries and 3 touchdowns total. 7 carries for 131 and 2.
And still 2 touchdowns for Travion. And Ramondre had a receiving touchdown.
That's 5 touchdowns between the two.
Yeah, it was wild. I mean, it was very easy for the Patriots.
Unbelievable. Ray Davis, Tyrone Tracy, Jahmyr Gibbs, and Ty Johnson. So two Bills backup running backs.
Oof.
Getting it done. Kenny Gainwell got into the end zone again, caught 9 targets for 8 catches and 64 yards. I thought both running backs at times looked really good in the San Francisco game, but Zach Charbonnet I thought looked better. 17 for 74 and a touchdown. You know, everything about those two guys, it's just funny. It's like Zach Charbonnet is a good running back, and he does some things really, really well. The one thing that keeps killing Kenneth Walker is his losing yards. I mean, he is just ridiculous when it comes to trying to get to the edge and then losing 3 or 4 yards at a time at least. Charbonnet is kind of more north-south. It's wild. 12 rushing touchdowns for Zach Charbonnet.
And yet the fewest amount of PPR points for a running back with that amount of touchdowns since 2010.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much the only thing that he did. If you started him in fantasy, it was just like, oh, good, I got a touchdown. I got 2 touchdowns.
Was the guy on the Bears, Michael Bush?
Oh, yeah.
Like, where we had Matt Forte, and you're like, the greatness of Matt Forte, and they're like, get him out of there. We got to get Bush in on the end zone.
That's not a bad comp because Bush was very successful at it.
Yes.
Just like Charbonnet, was this season.
He had a 27-yard run in this game. He had a 29-yard run last game.
Yeah.
He does break them off here and there. Tank Bigsby got it done. We had talked about him in Week 18. Chase Brown, nice finish to the season.
Dude.
Ken Walker is going to be a free agent.
The Chase Brown stuff is very exciting in terms of next year. I mean, Week 3, Week 4, he was going to get replaced for sure. And then it all came back, and Chase Brown was excellent. And Samaje P, someone will get work there if it's P. Ryan or whatever, but at least right now it feels pretty good if Chase Brown's on your dynasty squad.
Kenneth Walker.
He doesn't have a contract, right?
Correct.
So they need to re-sign
He's still
him.
under contract, but
Kenneth Walker ends the year with 1,027 rushing yards, 5 rushing touchdowns. We'll head to free agency after the playoffs.
Imagine if that was 10 rushing touchdowns.
I wonder if it's going to be better for both guys to leave.
What, Charbs? Well,
Yeah,
Charbs is under
for
contract.
Walker leaving. I mean,
yes.
If Walker leaves, it's like I could see Charbs being the one in a committee. There'll be a committee there, but he could be the one, and then Ken Walker could go be the one in a committee someplace else.
Yes.
I don't think either guy's going to get all the work for their team, but I do think it could be more predictable for those guys because this year it was like, basically paper rock scissors.
I don't know. I don't know if anyone's going to open up the bank for Walker, and his landing spot is going to mean so much. Like I can see
Kansas
Walker.
City.
I can see why.
That would be perfect
that'd be a great
because
spot.
What he needs more than anyone is an offensive line. Like if he goes to a place with a good offensive line that can open up holes and just let him use his speed and just, kind of like what we've seen.
Was that Jonathan Gannon?
Pew, pew, pew.
Because you just gave me some PTSD, brother.
I don't know if Walker's. I don't know if it's going to be great or the end.
Chris Rodriguez making his pitch. Crod trying to get his opportunities next year. Wide receiver Zay Flowers, the amazing Alec Pierce, Puka Nacua, Jamar Chase, and Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Bad boy of football, Alec Pierce.
Getting thrown out.
Getting thrown out for his egregious.
Barely touching
I was turning my body, and I kind of ran into the ref.
That was
soft.
So, I mean, I
grow up.
I understand that, like, the rules are that. But, I mean, it's not like we don't see players running into refs and bump refs because all the time.
Accidents happen.
Yeah, and there's
incidental contact.
Yeah, there's 22, probably 30-plus people on the field at all times. Like, that happens. And, it's like, you eject him? It was so weak.
Another amazing week for Alec Pierce, though. 4 for 132 and 2. He's a free agent. And Michael Wilson, a.k.a. Jerry Rice, might actually be Jerry Rice. Another 5 for 99 and 1. He had a 50-something yard catch called back that would have been on top of this. That was in a Calvin Johnson-esque jump ball.
What?
I mean, he is going to finish as the wide receiver 10 in full PPR.
No.
Yes.
What?
If you include
That's
week,
if you're
week 18, yeah.
with week 18.
I mean, which they do, right? I mean, that's part of what the final finish is, right?
Some.
It just depends on which resource you're looking at.
We don't include it?
I think
we do include it.
Honestly don't remember if our rest of season stuff goes
I'm
through
pretty
week
sure
18.
we include it.
It shouldn't.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, and it should. It
Shouldn't.
should.
Should not.
Well, I mean, the stat lines are the stat lines. You can't take a game out of the stat line. So, I mean,
We'll clarify all of how players got there, when it mattered, and everything on the Truth series that we start, next week?
yep, 119 for 1646 was the pace from week 11 on. Basically the best wide receiver in football. So he's nominated for some Footie Awards we're going to talk about. And then Parker Washington, 3 straight top 10 finishes. Jefferson got his 100 yards and 1,000 yards on the season. Tight ends, Colston Loveland.
So do you know who is tied for the second most receiving touchdowns
This year?
Yeah. There's 3 guys with 11.
I do not.
T. Higgins.
Makes sense.
T.
That one-handed catch was awesome.
He has 11.
Yes. So Devontae Adams, even without playing the final few weeks, he has 14. Then Amon-Ra, T. Higgins, and McBride have 11. I'm pointing out, like, T. Higgins, it was a very good year, and you should be excited.
It was also it was also a terrible year. You know what I mean? Like, if you had him, it was terrible. That's all I mean. Like, you couldn't play him very often and expect much, and then he got hurt, and then he came back, and then he got hurt again. And
there was the way that the season started with 2 kind of bad games, and then Joe Burrow gets injured, and it was a rough
I guess
start.
that's all I meant.
Once Burrow got back, obviously much, much better.
Just more ammo to him dropping in drafts is all I mean.
And it's also...
And I'll draft him.
I know.
Oh, I know you
probably will as well, but it is the same thing every year. It's like, he's great when he's healthy and when Joe Burrow is healthy. Those things are pretty universally true. It's just those things aren't always true.
They don't line up very often.
Yeah, they don't line up as often as you'd like. Certainly not 17 times in a year.
No. Colston Loveland led the way at tight end.
That's Mr. Loveland.
Mr. Loveland.
He is 21 years old, 13 targets, 10 for 91 and 1 this year. 6th most fantasy points ever for a rookie tight end in the final 8 games of a season, which he had missed some at the beginning of the year. But just a really dominant season for Colston Loveland at this point, finishing the year as a primary target. We were talking about the room for Chicago, and we'll see what the playoffs holds. But, it could be a little easier to predict what goes on there if it's going to be a Dunze, Burden, Loveland future. I feel like that's a good situation.
Yeah, I mean, his last 10 games played, and this is totally fine for a rookie tight end to take time to not be, the best. Tyler Warren was very impressive right off the bat to start the season. That's not the norm. The last 10 games for Colston Loveland, he's on pace for 1,014 yards and 10 touchdowns. That is what you dream of at the tight end position for fantasy.
I think it will be difficult
like that's pretty
in draft season. Like, as we are trying to make our,
Where do you think he'll go?
Loveland?
Yeah.
Oh, Loveland
you can
will
just give me the tight end rank.
Let's see. So, I mean, McBride above him for sure.
Brock Bowers above him for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Brock Bowers will go ahead of him. So, I mean,
I think if Daniel Jones is back, I think Tyler Warren will be in the discussion.
I think anywhere from 3 to 5. But I'm
for
saying
Loveland? Is that how it seems to you, Jay?
Yeah, it does.
I'm saying, like, when you're making your bets on who in the Bears is going to be the guy, like, will it be a Dunze, Burden, or Loveland? Who's going to be the target?
Loveland's the best bet there.
The difficult part of Loveland's breakout here, these last 10 games, were a lot of his production came without Rome.
Right.
And so if Rome is the true number 1 for this team, that's going to make a massive hit on what Loveland can do. And Rome hopefully is back for the playoffs. If the Bears end up making a run, maybe we will have a little bit more data to see how this version of the Bears does when all of their pieces are healthy, because I do have fears next year of just DJ Moore's not going anywhere. I think he's mostly irrelevant, but still going to be involved. Luther Burden looks like he's breaking out. Loveland is great. And I think Rome could be the best wide receiver on the team, should be the one. So
in the games that Rome played with him in that sample that you gave, which was 6 games, his pace is basically the same, 927 and 8. So
yeah, my chips will
maybe
be on
the total
Loveland.
targets wouldn't be the same, but at least the fact that he looks like a touchdown threat for this team every week is encouraging to me.
He's 21. This man can barely buy a beer.
I could see Harold Fannin above him. And, of course, Kyle Pitts.
We've got to get to these footy nominations, but a nice end of the year for Trey McBride. It finishes with 126 for 12, 39, and 11.
It was a really nice beginning of the year and the middle of the year.
Correct.
And end of the year for Trey McBride.
Yeah, all of it was pretty good. We'll take a break. We'll talk footy noms. All right, it's that time of year. It's time to get into the footy nominations. It is footy time, everybody, the most special time of the year. No award more valuable.
Imagine thinking any other award was better than
and always in the mail.
Well,
on its way to your doorstep.
Don't get me started on the post office.
I think some of the original footies are still on the way. Keep checking your mailbox.
Yeah.
Yeah, Allen Robinson, just keep checking.
We have signature tracking on it.
Have not seen that notice come up
anything.
yet.
It's weird.
FootieAwards.com. We'd love you to go and vote before Monday. The winners will be announced on next Tuesday's show. So we'll give you a week to lock in your votes. But we're going to get into the nominations here. We're starting with the performance of the year, looking at the best single week performance, the most impressive performance. Last year, Josh Allen won this with a cool 51.9 fantasy points in Week 14.
Goodness.
This year's nominees, Jahmyr Gibbs in Week 12. You remember this game. It was the last great game he had in the year.
Yeah.
49.9 fantasy points, 12 targets.
He got a lot of people to the playoffs.
And then ended there.
Helped them leave the playoffs.
Yeah. Derrick Henry in Week 17.
Championship week.
That's a valuable performance. Jonathan Taylor in Week 10. 3 touchdowns, 48 fantasy points. Trevor Lawrence in Week 15 with the 5 touchdown passes, 44 fantasy points. Puka Nacua going crazy in Week 16. Just happened, 40.5 fantasy points. And then Kyle Pitts, why not? 12 targets, 11 for 166 and 3. Best performance by a tight end since
ever.
Yeah,
I mean, in the fantasy
ever
football
o'clock
era, it's wild to think that you started the playoffs with the all-time greatest tight end performance.
Unbelievable.
And it was Kyle Pitts.
Yeah.
We have the Fantasy Reapers Man of the Year. So which player's injury hurt fantasy managers the most? This is always a sad list. Christian McCaffrey won it last year. But look, Christian McCaffrey came back, so maybe these players can come back next year. Malik Neighbors.
Oh, man.
I know. Jaden Daniels.
We didn't talk about that, by the way, but Neighbors still using a cane.
Which,
not great.
Is it jeweled on the top at least?
Yeah, I mean, unless he's pimping.
Yeah.
Which I'm told, not easy. Our injury guy, Matthew Betts, told us that is concerning at this point.
It could take a while.
For him to be this far off of or recovering from his surgery to still need a cane is
well,
not
then
great.
Neighbors said he had a lot wrong with his knee. So there's a big difference between those easy ACLs that are clean and multi-ligament problems.
That one was early, and that sucked.
Yeah, so you got Neighbors, Jaden Daniels.
Oh, that sucked, too. It feels like he didn't play in football this year.
It really does.
As does James Conner. James Conner was the starting running back for the Cardinals this year at some point.
Poof. Sam Laporta.
Yeah.
That one I think was just good for Jameson Williams. Everyone's like, yeah. Garrett Wilson.
Oh, that's the Jets' leading receiver, Jason.
That's a Jets' leading receiver, Garrett Wilson.
Don't believe he's caught a pass since Week 12.
No,
Still leading the team in receiving
does
yards.
not have 400 receiving yards, but leading the team. And Mike Evans, who went.
Yeah.
Imagine telling Jets fans before the year, listen, your leading receiver will be under 400 yards, and you're not going to pick off one pass this year.
That's impossible.
Glenn still has a job?
Yeah. But they said that's because they just asked around and no one would take the job if they were to fire him. So they're like, well, You got to be able to hire someone, and we can't.
There was
He's the defensive guy, right?
Right.
I was watching a clip. I don't want to miscredit it, higher profile, and they were talking about we're about to get into dynasty season, into prospecting, talking about these rookies because we're removed. We're focused on pros, and now we're going to catch up on the college kids. And it's like, okay, so Mendoza seemed like probably a lock to be the first pick in the draft. It seems that way. And what's the kid out of Oregon?
Dante Moore?
So they in the show they were saying if I'm Dante Moore, I am doing whatever back channeling I can. I'm having my agent get a hold of the Raiders and say, is there a chance I go number 1? And if the answer is not, you have a good chance of doing it, don't leave school. Like, don't. You do not go get drafted by the Jets.
Alternatively, Mike, and Jets fans, you can help us out with this. Please make it common knowledge that you are not one quarterback away as a Jets fan, and you should not take a quarterback with that number 2 pick.
Think no. I disagree. They're one quarterback away, and we got him. He's available.
Oh, Kyler Murray.
Yeah. I mean, imagine Kyler in the green. He'll look so sharp.
He'll look bigger than ever.
The jolly green giant.
There you go.
I'm up. Poopiest pants.
Wait, did we get through all of the?
We did.
Did you mention Mike Evans?
I did.
Oh, okay, sorry.
The Poopiest Pants Award. Despite high expectations, this player let down fantasy managers over and over again. Last year's winner was Travis Etienne, whose pants are not poopy this year.
No.
They are clean and pristine.
But this year, Justin Jefferson, it was the wide receiver 2. Lamar Jackson.
Pretty poopy.
Not a stranger to poopy pants. The quarterback 2. Brian Thomas Jr. Oh, my gosh. Brian Thomas Jr. in the second round is the wide receiver 10. Lad McConkey. Marvin Harrison, and then Chuba, who was the running back 18.
Yeah, those are some poopy pants. The Waiver Wire Wonder, our 4th award. Which undrafted stud was the best pickup in the season? It's a long list. Last year's winner was Bucky Irving.
This list is fun.
It is. Trevor Lawrence, Jacoby Brissett was on fire. Rico Dowdle had that run. Woody Marks in there. Kyle Monungai at times. Christian Watson once he came back. Wan'Dale Robinson.
Huge.
Quentin Johnston. Michael Wilson. Alec Pierce. And Harold Fannin Jr. Lots of good names in there.
Yeah, Harold Fannin is a great player, period.
He is.
He is a great player. The fantasy quarterback of the year, Jaden Daniels took this one home last year.
Mm-hmm.
It's the obvious big choices. Josh Allen, Drake May, and then just like everyone saw, Trevor Lawrence.
Right.
You got Dak Prescott, Patrick Mahomes, and Matthew Stafford.
There are your nominations.
I forgot Mahomes started really, really hot.
He was on fire and then
hurt.
Yeah.
The fantasy running back of the year, it's a lot like the quarterback one, except it's about the running backs.
Thank you.
Christian McCaffrey. Must I continue? But Jonathan Taylor, not everyone's going to vote for him, but Christian McCaffrey, Johnny Taylor.
What a start.
Jahmyr Gibbs, Devon Achane, Bijan Robinson, James Cook, and Derrick Henry.
I'm not going to sway the votes by naming them, but I feel like there's only 2 people you can even really.
See, I was about to say, like, Devon Achane deserves a tremendous amount of respect in this category.
He does, but there's 2 champs on this list.
Fantasy wide receiver of the year. And by the way, we're looking at kind of draft position, big game performances, the impact of fantasy teams. That's what you're voting on. Last year's winner was Jamar Chase. This year's nominees, JSN and Puka Nacua, Amon-Ra St. Brown, George Pickens, and Jamar Chase once again. Jason, you can introduce our fantasy tight end.
Yeah, the fantasy tight end of the year. It's a lot like the fantasy wide receiver of the year, but with tight ends. Brock Bowers was last year's winner. This year, I mean, okay, you got George Kittle and Kyle Pitts and Dallas Goedert and Tyler Warren and Harold Fannin Jr. and Trey McBride.
I'm sorry to Harold Fannin.
I'm sorry to everyone else.
That's your.
That one was
when you dominate.
You can't sway the vote here. That he lapped the field by
a lot.
It was the craziest gap between him and second place.
I'm gonna look. Holy Toledo!
Yeah,
it's What?
Yeah.
Okay, what
There's
I'm
just-
seeing.
Well, because
And-
number 2 is what? Kyle Pitts?
Yeah, so in a half point.
Wait, what?
Yeah, Kyle
Yeah.
Pitts, your number 2 tight end. of the
No.
Yeah.
40 points in a week will help you.
So in a half point
Oh,
scoring format, what I'm seeing
no.
is Trey McBride at 253 points, and Kyle Pitts is the tight end 2 at 169 points.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, this.
that
there
one's
shouldn't be a
It's
vote.
over.
Yeah.
It's Vince Carter.
Also, every year we got tight ends. No, we don't. No,
No.
we don't.
252 points is more than Jamar Chase scored as the wide receiver 4 at the tight end position.
That's a good pick. All right, rookie of the year. Last year's winner. Wait,
It's a lot like the tight ends, but with
But it's
With-
different.
with guys who have never played, and they could be at any position. Jane Daniels was the winner
So
last year.
stupid.
I like this bit a lot. We got Jackson Dart, Cam Scadaboo,
honorary vote.
yeah, in loving memory. Ashton Genty, Travion Henderson, Omarion Hampton, Quinshawn Judkins, R.J. Harvey, Tetaroa McMillan. It's just every rookie who played football.
Yeah.
Emeka Ibuka,
Yeah, he was awesome.
Harold Fannin Jr., and Tyler Warren. Who left Ibuka
What do
in
you
here?
mean? Abuka is as worthy of being on here as Travion is. They flipped their seasons.
Ah.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah,
That's the problem. When you're reading these names for Rookie of the Year,
Uh-huh.
I don't know the right vote.
it
Because
is tough.
there's a bunch of broken seasons here. Scadaboo barely played. Hampton barely played. Judkins got hurt, didn't get going until he came back from the
Holy
suspension.
crap, Ibuka. You guys know where he finished?
Yeah, I do. Wide receiver 20.
He managed to finish at 20?
Now
Travion Henderson, running back 19.
Yeah.
They
now
did
you
the same thing in
understand
reverse.
why they both belong here. It's not how you. It's hard because the vote here is like.
It's just the man had 8 straight weeks of
Do you have any inkling on how that vote's going to go? I'm not going to make you say who you think's going to win.
let me look at it again.
I genuinely don't
I feel like
know
I
the
want
right
to vote.
answer.
I want to vote for Cam Scadaboo.
Right.
The heart wants what the heart wants.
Yeah,
I think I know who is going to
I
win.
can tell you. I can tell you who
I
the
bet you
top
guys have
3
a different
finishers are going to be.
I'm
I'm not going to do it right now. But.
don't think we'll have a different name. Yeah, I think I know who's going to win.
Yeah, we'll talk about it. I want your votes. We don't want to sway anything. Breakout player of the year. Rookies are not allowed here, right? Just breakout players that
Correct.
we've already seen that leveled up. Last year was Brian Thomas Jr., who is this year's breakdown player.
I'll
of the
tell you
year.
what. When we're reading these last year names, right? Like rookie of the year last year was Jaden Daniels. Bad this year. Last year's bad players of
I
injured
know where
Chris,
you're going. I don't like it.
injured Christian McCaffrey, and then he was great. Poopy Pants, it was ETN, then he was great. It's like it's just the opposites award. Like, everybody.
I thought you were going to say we are cursing people.
What about the Jamar Chase part?
Yeah, he's still great.
That was pretty good. Saquon, yeah, a little bit.
He could be back-to-back winner.
Breakout player of the year nominees: Drake May, Javonte Williams, Jalen Warren, George Pickens, Chris Olave, and Michael Wilson. All worthy nominees.
but who
Did
was
you feel
the-
like Jalen Warren was a breakout player?
he was
It-
for a while
it-
when he
I
got
don't-
That's
injured?
the only one in that category that doesn't feel right to
When
me.
he got injured late, and Kenny Gainwell was just awesome.
Feels like
truly-
Gainwell should be in there.
I mean,
Yeah.
Warren had, what, over 1,200 yards?
I love that Brooks is going to hear us debating the inclusion of people and be like, "You had 3 days to change any names you wanted."
Yeah, but that
in
was
this list."
yesterday.
Yeah.
I know. I'm just thinking like
How do we feel today?
I feel like Kenny Gainwell broke out more than Jalen Warren. That's all I'm saying.
He
The
definitely.
nominees
I think-
are the nominees,
I-
but Kenny Gainwell broke
I know
out
why
more
you're
than-
saying that, but it also is probably a little bit of recency bias because it happened later in the year.
And yeah,
I mean, he's their leading receiver on the year.
Not their leading runner. He's a running back.
yeah, he just surpassed 1,000, where Warren had almost 1,000 rushing yards plus 330
Okay,
receiving yards.
all right.
The steal of the draft. This
Here we
is
go
actually
again.
always the
Brian Thomas Jr. last year,
Brian Thomas Jr. steal of the draft.
9th round pick.
These are the guys that really genuinely like. These win leagues for you. Yeah, James Cook drafted as the running back 13.
Yep.
Trey McBride, even though he was drafted as the running back 2,
Tight
still obvious. Tight end 2, he's still obvious. Worth it. JSN,
Yeah.
3rd round pick, wide receiver 14 in the draft. Devontae Adams, man, if he could have stayed healthy, he was unbelievable. Wide receiver 19 in the draft. How about George Pickens, drafted as the wide receiver 28? Where did he finish? Look that up, Mike.
I'm sorry. I'm seeing a note here from the Falcon who never makes a good point.
No, never.
But I wasn't paying attention. Close to Mr. Loveland's not up for tight end of the year. And Warren is.
Yeah. Who finished higher?
Might have been Loveland.
I mean, we count week 18.
Yes, we count week 18. No, Warren was better by 4 position points.
Yeah.
By
7 and 11.
What was his total points?
Colston Loveland?
No, Warren.
Loveland was 136. Warren was 150.
Okay.
There you go. George Pickens did finish as the wide receiver 5. Drafted as the wide receiver 28. DeAndre Swift drafted as the running back 24. Chris Olave was drafted as the wide receiver 34. I think he's one of the most surprising of this year.
Yes.
Like nobody really wanted to draft him.
No, nobody did. It was a reluctant click.
You had Javonte Williams, another surprise, running back 39 in the 9th round, was very good. Cooled off towards the end of the year. And then Travis Etienne, last year's Poopiest pants, now on the steal of the draft category as a nominee.
Got to poop your pants to become a steal.
That's true. That's true.
Unless you're a rookie, you got to poop your pants to become a steal.
You got to drop. You got to
You
drop.
gotta
drop one.
Yeah, got to drop one to go late in the draft.
Normally, you drop your pants to drop one.
Yeah, but if you don't drop your pants and then you drop one,
It's called the poopy pants.
yeah, and then you go
The comeback player of the year.
Thank you,
Which
Mike.
fantasy player amazed you the most in their return to relevance?
What is this one like?
This one is not like the rest.
No, okay.
We got Matthew Stafford, who had vanished for us as a fantasy
By the way,
quarterback.
J.K. Dobbins won this last year.
Oh, yes. J.K. Oh,
So we did it again.
Yeah.
J.K. Dobbins just like that.
Yeah, and we're about to in the next one. So go on, keep going.
So, Matty Stafford, Trevor Lawrence, Javonte Williams, Chris Olave, Kyle Pitts, and Dallas Goedert.
Are you with me?
I just saw what the next one was. It's unbelievable.
The playoff king
The
who
play-
drove fantasy managers to a championship during playoff weeks 15 to 17. Last year's winner was Jahmyr Gibbs.
Who drove
He drove you home.
he got you to the play. He's the exact opposite of this
He's
award.
the exact opposite. This year, a lot of nominees: Trevor Lawrence, Brock Purdy, Derrick Henry, Christian McCaffrey, Bijan, Olave, Nakua, McBride, and Pitts all dominated during the playoff weeks. Jahmyr Gibbs did not.
No. We have a new
We got 2 new awards this year.
2 new awards.
By the way,
For-
footieawards.com. Footieawards.com to vote.
That's right. And that's TIE, footy. Just in case you want to put a Y in there.
Do we not have
Footie
the
Award?
Y?
I don't know. We should look into that.
Just
Um,
grab it.
Yeah. So the first new award is the Bummer of the Year. It's not necessarily the biggest bust,
Right.
but it's still a huge bummer for fantasy football managers, and those
It's
people
Papa Josh.
deserve.
Oh, he's not
He's
here.
not
He's
here.
today. Okay.
That's the bummer of every year. That if you just win it every year. But the Bummer of the Year, Emeka Egbuka is in this list because this is like the build me up buttercup just to let me down.
Mm-hmm.
Brian Thomas Jr.
Oh,
Wait,
gosh.
We're going to let him get
He
getting
won
the
multiple
bummer
awards
and the
last year.
poopiest pants?
Here's my Bummer of the Year, Caleb Johnson. Remember him?
Nope.
Yeah. Bucky Irving and Travis Hunter. Which one just hurt your heart, I think,
Yeah.
the most?
And then, Mike, we got one more new category.
We do. We introducing the Meow Man of the Year. This year's nominations for the first ever Meow Man of the Year, Mason Taylor.
A.K.A. Meowson Taylor.
And that's it.
All right. You can vote for whoever you want in this category at footieawards.com.
FOOTIE, footieawards.com.
It was confirmed that Mason Taylor is the only rookie tight end since 2010 to not force a single missed tackle in a season with 40-plus receptions.
So
He's also the only rookie tight end since 2010 to be nominated for the inaugural Meow Man of the Year award.
vote with your heart.
But use your brain.
Yeah. All the above. Next category.
Did you introduce that one? Yeah, we have the nickname of the year.
It went by quick.
The nickname.
There's not a lot of nominees.
The nickname of the year this year is I was trying to find.
Of last year?
Well, no, we're introducing nominees for this year. Last year's winner was Laser Mayfield. What a flop the end of the season was for that team.
Every
It's the
single,
opposite team.
Every single winner of a footy
They
last
have so much power.
they just did the opposite this year, and it's not all a curse. Because if you got a bad award last year, you're awesome this year.
Oh my gosh. And the show moment of the year last year, it was me and Jeremy in the title game when we finished dead last.
I mean, every single thing
happening?
was the opposite.
Oh my gosh, how good is Mason Taylor going to be?
Oh, he's going to break every tackle
He's gonna be
record.
so
He'll
good.
at least break some tackles.
Yeah.
Also, to be clear, only one of us finished dead last.
That is
Also,
true.
to be fair, we do
one of
not
us
know.
finished
We
first,
don't know
too.
who has won any awards yet, Mike. So I don't want you to presume.
I apologize.
Yeah. We don't know who's going to win the Meow Man of the Year.
Yeah.
Nickname of the Year nominees last year, Baker Mayfield. This year, George Pickens' nickname.
George.
T. Higgins' nickname.
Meet Higgins.
Dylan Gabriel's nickname.
You mean Gillen Dabriel.
Alec Iomanor's nickname.
Ooh, epic Io Manor.
Mason Taylor's nickname.
Meowson Taylor.
Ja'Cory Kreisky Merritt is.
Bill Karowski.
Jake Tonjes is.
Tonjes McBasketball.
DK Metcalf is.
You mean DK Mike Calf.
And then, for the first time, I think ever, 2 nicknames for one dude. Colston Loveland as Catston Dogland and Colston Loveland as Mr.
Mr.
Loveland.
Loveland.
Oh, Mr. Loveland. I
Gonna
do
split
declare.
that vote.
You know, I will say from the moment that his nickname kind of leaned towards Mr. Loveland, he
Yeah.
really was on fire.
Yeah, I think we really did that. And then the final category, the most important category of the footies every year, although really nickname of the year might be, the show moment of the year. And here is the best part. If you go to vote at footieawards.com, we will have a YouTube link to all 10 video clips. It is a fun watch to remember and remind yourself of all these
Yeah, what a year.
bizarre, stupid, accidental problems that happened on the show. We have the Bill Krosky jokes.
Okay.
Those are good.
Bill
That
Krosky.
was a good time.
We have the Falcon mailbag drop
That was a bad time.
/ fiasco.
That made it in. Huh?
It shouldn't have. Mike's Henderson hate blockers.
That was a good day.
You enjoyed that. We have Meet Higgins. It's crazy that that's still from this year. That was a long time ago. We've got the Nard attack.
What?
You know, Juwan Jennings getting his Nards attacked.
Oh, my God.
We had me.
Why'd we go with Nard?
Because
I think
That's
that's
great.
it's a family-friendly show.
That's great. Yeah, that's a good one.
We have me hating fantasy football after week 4.
Yep.
That was awful. We have me going missing.
Yep.
We have the Cardinals meltdown.
No, yeah, that
that
was
was
good.
after the Titans game.
Yeah, and the,
yeah, you and I were going
that's
back
right.
and
That
forth.
was us. And then my Cam Scattaboo Halloween costume.
That was fun.
That was a good time. And the Falcon buying food on the company card for months. So
For a really long time.
You
Did you
can-
ever pay all that
Yeah,
back?
what's going on with that payment plan?
Yeah,
it's on the way.
Okay.
It's in the mail.
You paid me back with DoorDash gift cards for some reason. I don't know.
Yeah, what? Falcon's in here twice.
yeah, I don't like that at all.
Yeah.
More than Loveland.
He didn't put it together, though. So there you
He's
go.
probably getting all his friends to vote for him.
Yeah, that's kind of what he does.
Mhm.
All right, footieawards.com. Vote before Monday. Winners will be announced next Tuesday.
Thankfully, he's got like 4.
Yeah. So
So
4 friends?
yeah,
Oh, that's a lot.
yeah, but not when the voting matters.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
We appreciate your votes. We appreciate you hanging out with us. We're going to say goodbye for today, but we'll be back on Thursday. A very special Footballers AMA episode, Footie Award show coming up, Truth Series coming up, and the best week of football ever, maybe? These playoff matchups should be a blast. We'll see you soon.
Goodbye.
Thank you for listening to another episode of the Fantasy Footballers Podcast. Join our fantasy football community on jointhefoot.com and follow us on Twitter @TheFFBallers.